Today I will read Harry Potter and the Philosopher Stone chapter 17, The Man with Two Faces. It's Swallow you gasped by gasped Harry Worrell smiled. His face wasn't twitched at all. Me, he said calmly. I wondered whether I did be meeting you here, Potter, but I thought Snape serious. Worrell laughed, and it wasn't his usual worry trouble either, but cool and sharp. Yes, Severus does the type, doesn't he? So useful to have him swooping around like an overgrown pet next to him who would suspect poor certainly Professor Worrell. Harry couldn't take it in. This couldn't be true. It couldn't. But Snape tried to kill me. No, 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 I tried to kill you. Your friend Miss Granger accidentally knocked me over as she rushed to that door, fired to Snape at that Quidditch match. She broke my eye contact with you. Another few seconds, I did have got you of that broom. I did have managed it before then if Snape hadn't been muttering catechers trying to save you. Snape was trying to save me. Of course, they were coy. Why do you think he wanted to referee your next match? He was trying to make sure I didn't do that again. Funny, really. He needn't have bothered. I couldn't do anything with Dumbledore watching. All the other teachers told Snape were trying to stop Gryffindor from winning. He did make himself unpopular, and what a waste of time when after all that I'm going to kill you tonight. Where is Snape? His fingers wraps ran out of thin air and wrapped themselves tightly around Harry. You're too nosy to leave Potter scurrying all around the school on Halloween like that. For all I knew, you did see me coming to look at was guarding the storm. You let in the throne. Certainly, I have a special gift with thrones. You must have seen what I did to the one in the chamber back there. Unfortunately, while everyone else was running around looking for it, Snape, who already suspected me, went straight to third floor to help me up. And not only did my throne fail to beat you to death, that three-handed didn't manage to buy Snape left off properly. Now wait, Twilight Potter, I need to examine this interesting mirror. It was only then Harry realized was standing behind Worrell. It was the mirror of Eris. This mirror is the key to finding the stone, Worrell murmured, tapping his way around the frame. Just Dumbledore to come up with something like this. But he's in London. It'll be far away by the time he gets back. All Harry could think of doing was to keep Worrell talking and stop him from concentrating on the mirror. I saw you and Snape in the forest, he blurted out. Yes, said Worrell indeed, walking around the mirror to look up the back. He was on to me by that time, trying to find out how far they got. He suspected he all along tried to frighten me as though he could when I had Lord Voldemort on my side. Worrell came back from behind the mirror and stared hungrily into it. I see stone. I'm presenting it to my master, but where is it? Harry struggled against the ropes, binding him, but they didn't give. He had to keep Worrell from giving his whole attention to the mirror. But Snape seemed to hate me so much. Oh, he does, said Worrell occasionally. Yes, he was in Hogwarts with your father. Didn't you know? They loved each other but never wanted you dead. But I hear a few days ago sobbing I thought Snape was threatening you. For the first time I spent of fear flitter across Worrell's face. Sometimes he said, I find it hard to follow my master's instruction. He's a great wizard and I'm weak. You mean he was there in the classroom with you? Harry gasped. He's with me wherever I go, said Worrell quietly. I met him when I traveled around the world. A foolish young man I was then, full of ridiculous ideas about good and evil. Lord Voldemort showed me how wrong I was. There's no good and evil. There's not only power, and those too weak, said Sigurd. Since then, I have served him faithfully, although I have let him down many times. He has had to be very hard on me. Worrell said certainly he does not forgive mistakes easily. When I followed through the storm from Greek gods, he was most displeased. He punished me. He decided he would have to keep closer watch on me. Worrell's voice trailed away. Harry was remembering his trip to Diagon Alley. How could he have been so stupid? He did see Worrell there that very day, shaking hands with him in Lincoln Drive. Worrell cursed under his breath. I don't understand. Is the stone inside the mirror? Should I break it? Harry's mind was racing. What I went more than anything else in the world at the moment. He thought it's to find the stone before Warren does. So if I look in the mirror, I should see myself finding it, which means I'll see where it's hidden. But how can I look without Warren realizing what I'm up to? He tried to edge to the left to get in front of the glass without Worrell notices. But the ropes around his ankle were too tight. He tried it and fell over. Worrell ignored him. He was still talking to himself. What does this mean do? How does it work? Help me, master. And to Harry Horror a voice answered, and the voice seemed to come from Worrell himself. Use the boy. Use the boy. Well, on Harry. Yes, Potter, come here. He clapped his hands once, and ribs blinding Harry fall out. Harry got slowly to his feet. Come here, Worrell repeated. Look in the mirror and tell me what you see. Harry walked toward him. I must lie, he thought desperately. I must look and lie about what I see. That's all. Warren moved close behind him. Harry breathed in funny smell that seemed to come from Warren's turban. He closed his eyes, stepped in front of the mirror, and opened it again. He saw his reflection, pallid and scared looking at first, but a moment later the reflection smiled at him. It put its hand into its pocket and pulled out a flat red stone. It winked and put the stone back in its pocket. And as I did so, Harry felt something heavy drop into his real pocket. Somehow, incredibly, he did gotten the stone. Well, said Worrell impatiently. What do you see? Harry screwed up his courage. I see myself shaking with Dumbledore. He invented. I have won Housecup of Gryffindor. Worrell cursed again. Get out of the way, he said as Harry moved aside. He felt Sorcerer's Stone again in his leg. Dare he make a break for it? But he hadn't walked 5 paces before a high voice spoke. Though Worrell was moving his lips, he lies. Potter, come back here. Worrell shouted. Tell me the truth. What did you see? The high voice spoke again. Let me see to him face to face. Master, you are not strong enough. I have strength enough for this. Harry felt as if devil snare was rooting him to the spot. He couldn't move a muscle. Petrified, he watched as Worrell reached up and began to unwrap his turban. What was going on. The turban flew away. Worrell had looked strangely small without it. Then he turned it slowly on the spot. Harry would have screamed, but he couldn't make a sound. Where there should have been a back to Worrell had, there was a face, the most terrible face Harry had ever seen. It was chalk white with glaring red eyes and slit for nostril lightning. Harry Potter is whispered. Harry tried to take a step backward, but his leg wouldn't move. See what I have come, the face said. Mere shadow and vapor. I have form only when I can stare another body, but there have always been those willing to let me into their hearts and minds. Unicorn blood has strengthened me this bad week. You so faithful, Laura bringing it for me in the forest, and once I have the elixir of flying, I will be able to create a body of my own. Now, why don't you give me that stone in your pocket? So he knew. The feeling studently searched back into Harry's legs. He stumbled backward. Don't be a fool, sneered the face. Better save your old line and join me, or you will meet the same end as your parents. They die begin to me for persisting. Liar, Harry shouted sternly. Warren was walking backward at him, so that Voldemort could still see him. The evil face was now smiling. How touch is his? It always value privilege. Yes, boy, your parents were brave. I killed your father first, and he put a courageous fight. But your mother needn't have died. She was trying to protect you. Now give me the sword unless you want her to have died in vain. Never. Harry sprang toward the flame door, but Voldemort's scream seized him, and the next second Harry felt Quirrell's hand close on his wrist. At once a needle-sharp pain sheared across Harry's scar. His head fell as though it was about to split in two. He yelled struggling with all his might, and to his surprise, Quirrell let go of him, abandoning his head lessened. He looked around wearily to see where Quirrell had gone, and saw him hunched in bed looking at his finger. They were blistering before his eyes.